Millions of people carry a polymer pistol every day and trust it with their life. But a problem is growing that almost nobody talks about. Lawsuits are piling up, police departments are quietly pulling guns off duty, and one tiny illegal part is turning legal pistols into machine guns nationwide. Here are the 10 real problems nobody wants you to know, starting with number 10. Number 10. The frame flexes when you fire. When you fire, polymer pistols are the most common handguns on Earth right now. One single brand alone has built more than 20 million of them since 1982, and almost every major gun maker in the world now sells its own version. They took over because they were lighter, cheaper, and did not rust the way steel did. But that success came with trade-offs nobody warns you about at the counter. The first one shows up the second you pull the trigger. Every polymer frame bends a little when the gun fires. This is not a rumor. Manufacturers admit it openly, and some even market it as a feature. Watch a polymer pistol fire in slow motion and you can actually see the frame flex under the pressure. Steel frames do not do this. They stay rigid, shot after shot, round after round. That flex changes how the gun feels and how it shoots. Some shooters say it helps, because the frame absorbs part of the recoil before it reaches your hand, making follow-up shots faster. Others say it hurts accuracy, because the barrel and slide are not sitting on a perfectly stable base the way they would on machined steel. Engineers who study stress and vibration in mechanical parts confirm the flex is real and measurable, not just a feeling in the shooter's hand. This is why serious competition shooters in slow, precise disciplines like bullseye still lean towards steel frame guns, and why steel-framed classics like the 1911 remain popular at the highest levels of precision shooting. The tight tolerances of a machined steel frame hold their shape shot after shot in a way plastic never fully will, especially past 50 yards where tiny movements become bigger misses. It is not a defect. It is a trade-off nobody explains when you buy your first polymer pistol off the shelf. Number 9. The frame wears down around the firing pin every time a polymer pistol fires. Hot gas from the primer blows back against a small steel plate called the breech face. Over thousands of rounds, that gas slowly wears a ring into the metal around the firing pinhole. Gun owners call this breech face erosion. And if you have ever cleaned a pistol with tens of thousands of rounds through it, you have probably seen it. Owners post pictures of it online constantly, worried they found a crack or a defect. Experienced shooters with pistols carrying 300,000 rounds or more say the wear looks about the same on every gun that has seen heavy use. Armorers say a small ring like this is normal wear, not a safety issue, and it does not affect how the gun fires or feeds. But owners who see it for the first time often panic, thinking their gun is failing after just a few thousand rounds. Some of what looks like erosion is actually something else entirely, like a loose primer letting gas escape sideways, which a different brand of ammunition can sometimes fix. The real story is less dramatic than it looks, but it proves something important. Even the steel parts hidden inside a polymer pistol are not immune to the punishment of firing thousands of rounds. Wear happens everywhere, whether the frame is plastic or metal, because no material survives forever against the pressure inside a firing chamber. Number 8. Cold weather moth refuses to die for decades. Hunters and cops worried that polymer frames would turn brittle and crack in freezing weather. It sounds believable. Plastic left outside in winter does get brittle, and everyone has seen a cheap plastic toy snap in the cold. But polymer pistols are not made from the same plastic as a lawn chair or a milk jug. Heckler & Koch tested their polymer pistols down to -40 degrees, freezing them solid in ice chambers with a thick coating of ice around the entire gun, and the guns still fired the moment the trigger was pulled. Special Forces units carry polymer pistols in alpine and Arctic conditions without needing a special cold weather version at all. The material engineers use is a reinforced nylon blend, built specifically to resist the kind of cracking people fear. With a glass transition point far below temperatures any shooter would actually be standing in. This myth keeps getting repeated online because it sounds logical on the surface, but decades of military testing say otherwise every single time. The real danger in cold weather is not the frame at all. It is your gun oil turning thick and gummy in low temperatures, which can slow the slide down and cause a malfunction. That problem has nothing to do with polymer, and it happens on steel guns. Number 7. Some cleaning chemicals can still hurt it. Most gun cleaning solvents are safe on polymer frames, and millions of owners use Hoppy's number 9 or CLP without ever seeing a single problem. That part is true, and gunsmiths who have used these products for decades confirm it. But it is not the whole story. Gunsmiths also confirm that leaving strong solvents soaking on a polymer frame for long periods, rather than wiping them off, can slowly soften the plastic over time. And nylon 6, the material used in most polymer frames, can actually be damaged by concentrated acids like nitric, sulfuric, or hydrochloric acid. Almost nobody uses acid to clean a gun, so this rarely happens in real life, and most owners will never see it. But it proves polymer is not indestructible against every chemical on Earth, the way some marketing likes to suggest. Manufacturers themselves sometimes give contradicting advice, with one representative recommending a certain solvent while another tells the same customer to avoid it. The safe rule gun shops actually follow is simple. Wipe solvent off quickly instead of letting it sit. Avoid harsh degreasers on the grip area, and stick to name brand cleaners built specifically for firearms. Number 6. It loses money the moment you buy. A sear is a problem nobody talks about because it has nothing to do with how the gun shoots. Polymer pistols lose value fast. Firearms pricing data from resale companies that track thousands of transactions every year shows mass-produced polymer pistols depreciate the same way phones and laptops do. You buy it, you walk out of the store, and it is already worth less than what you paid. Compare that to classic steel frame guns like a Colt Python or a well-kept 1911, which can hold their value for decades and sometimes even climb in price as older models get harder to find. Discontinued models and estate sale rarities drive that market, and steel guns simply age into collector pieces in a way plastic never does. Election years and legislative uncertainty can also push used gun prices up across the board, but that swing helps collectible guns far more than common polymer models, because demand for a rare piece grows faster than demand for something a dealer can restock anytime. Polymer pistols are built to be affordable and disposable in a business sense, and that was the entire point from day one. Millions of the same exact model exist on shelves across the country, so there is nothing rare about the one sitting in your safe. If you are buying a gun purely as a tool for protection or target practice, this does not matter to you at all. But if you think of your gun as something that holds value over time the way an investment would, the polymer pistol in your safe is probably worth less today than it was the year you bought it. Number 5. A cracked frame cannot be fixed. When a steel frame gets damaged, a skilled gunsmith can often weld it, machine it, or repair it and send it right back to you looking almost new. Polymer frames do not work that way. If a polymer frame cracks, there is no fixing it, no welding it, no patching it up. The entire frame gets replaced from scratch. Owners who send a cracked frame back to the factory get a brand new gun back, with a brand new serial number stamped onto it, because federal law does not allow the company to reuse the old serial number on a rebuilt frame. That means paperwork through a licensed dealer, even for a warranty repair on a gun you already legally own, and the gun has to be shipped out rather than fixed on the spot. This process can take anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks, depending on how backed up the factory is, which is a long time to go without a gun you may carry for personal protection. Cracking is not common across the millions of pistols in circulation, but it does happen, especially around stress points like the slide rails, the area near sight cuts, or wherever aftermarket accessories get mounted with extra torque during installation. A newer .22 caliber model faced a wave of reports about hairline cracks near the extractor early in its production run, visible enough that owners posted photos comparing notes online and swapping theories about the cause, which the manufacturer quietly addressed by updating the mold for later batches without ever announcing a formal recall. The bigger lesson here is simple. A cracked polymer frame is never a repair job. It is always a full replacement whether you want one or not, and whether you can afford to be without your gun for 2 months or not. Number 4. The same design that made it cheap. Rotate. A new weak point for years. One of the biggest selling points of polymer pistols was interchangeable parts that let shooters customize their gun without needing a gunsmith. Newer designs went even further, building the gun around a small serialized metal chassis instead of treating the plastic frame as the actual firearm. That tiny metal chassis, sometimes called a fire control unit, is the real legally regulated firearm under the law, the one piece with a serial number that police can trace. The plastic grip wrapped around it is just a shell, a piece you can pop off and swap for a different size, a different color, or a different brand entirely, without ever touching the part the law actually cares about. Several major manufacturers now build their newest pistols this way, including some designed specifically as budget-friendly clones of older, more trusted platforms that shooters already know and like. This sounds like a smart upgrade for the average buyer, and in many ways it genuinely is, since one small part can now fit into a full-size grip or a compact grip depending on what you need that day, saving buyers from purchasing 2 separate guns. But it also means the single most important, most regulated part of the entire gun is now a tiny piece that can be pulled out and dropped into a completely different shell in seconds, without any tools and without a background check for the shell itself. Attorneys general in multiple states have raised concerns about this exact design feature, warning publicly that swappable grip modules make it easier to build guns that dodge tracking systems and easier to adapt for illegal modifications down the line. The convenience that makes these pistols so popular with everyday shooters is the very same convenience that keeps investigators up at night. Point 3. A tiny device is turning Lego pistols into machine guns. This is where the real crisis begins. It is called an auto sear, but most people know it by its street name, a Glock switch. It is a small piece of metal or plastic, sometimes smaller than a coin, that clips onto the back of a polymer pistol in seconds with no tools required. Once it is in place, one pull of the trigger empties the entire magazine in under 2 seconds. It turns a legal handgun into a fully automatic machine gun instantly, something federal law has restricted for private citizens for nearly 90 years. These devices are illegal under federal law, full stop, no exceptions, and possessing one carries up to 10 years in federal prison. But that has not stopped them from spreading across the country. The ATF recovered 814 of these devices between 2012 and 2016. Between 2019 and 2023, that number exploded to over 11,000, a 784% increase in just a few years. Some are smuggled in from overseas in small packages. Others are 3-dimensional printed at home for less than $10 in materials, using files that spread quietly online. Police departments across the country call it an epidemic, and one ATF agent said he used to rarely see a machine gun in his first 10 years on the job, but now sees converted pistols all the time. In Baton Rouge alone, officers documented more than 80 cases involving these devices in just 2 years. This device has been directly linked to mass shootings, including an attack in Sacramento that left 6 people dead and 12 wounded, and a shooting in Philadelphia where 8 teenagers were shot while waiting at a bus stop from a converted pistol firing 30 rounds in seconds. The switch itself is illegal everywhere in the country. But the design of modern polymer pistols, with an exposed rear rail built for easy manufacturing, makes them the easiest handgun platform in the world to convert. Nobody built these guns to be turned into machine guns. But nobody designed them to stop it either, and criminals figured that out faster than lawmakers could respond to. The court cases nobody is talking about, one of the most trusted polymer pistols in America, is now facing over 100 lawsuits, and most gun owners have never heard about it. The claim at the center of every case is the same: the pistol can fire without anyone pulling the trigger. Plaintiffs say the gun becomes fully ready to fire the instant a round is loaded into the chamber, with no external safety switch to stop it. 2 separate juries have already ruled against the manufacturer, including one verdict worth $11 million. Court documents reveal the company's own internal report from 2017, written for the United States Army, rated the risk of an unintended discharge as high, capable of causing catastrophic injury. That report existed years before the pistol became one of the best-selling handguns in the country. In 2025, an independent test group released video showing a pistol that had already gone through the manufacturer's voluntary safety upgrade, still firing without anyone touching the trigger. Since then, the state of New Jersey has sued the company directly, asking a court to block sales inside the state entirely. 1. The problem nobody wants to admit. Every issue on this list points to the same uncomfortable truth. Polymer pistols were never designed to be permanent. They were designed to be cheap, light, and easy to manufacture at massive scale. And that mission succeeded beyond anything the original engineers imagined back in the 1980s, when the whole idea of a plastic gun sounded like a joke. But speed and cost-cutting always come with trade-offs, and those trade-offs are showing up now, decades later. A frame that cannot be repaired, only replaced. A grip system built for convenience that investigators say is easier to exploit. A rear design that makes illegal conversion devices simple to install. A safety system trusted by millions that is now being challenged in court by the people who used to trust it most. None of this means polymer pistols are unsafe for the average owner who buys one, cleans it properly, and never modifies it. Millions of people carry these guns every day without a single problem, and this is not an attack on the platform itself. But an entire industry built its reputation on being simple, reliable, and beyond question, and the last few years have proven that reputation was never the full story. The real problem with polymer pistols was never the plastic. It was the assumption that cheaper and lighter could never come with a cost. That assumption is being tested in courtrooms, in police departments, and on crime scenes across the country right now, and the outcome is still being written. If this surprised you, you are not alone. Most of this story never makes it past gun forums, court filings, and small legal newsletters that most people never read or even know exist. The mainstream reviews focus on how a gun shoots on day one, not what happens to it after years of ownership, lawsuits, recalls, and real-world use out in the field.